Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Anita, and I welcome everyone on behalf of Manhattan Meditation Center and Peace Village Learning and Retreat Center of Brahma Kumaris. I hope you guys know that our retreat center is in upstate New York. If you just Google Peace Village Brahma Kumaris, the whole address comes up. So before we start today's topic, again, few announcements about our services. But before even we go there, if it's possible for you guys to turn on your videos, that'll be really nice. We will love to see your lovely faces rather than just names. It's good to talk to faces. It's kind of more personal that way, and it's a class-like feeling. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Few more video cameras on will be good. But anyway, take your time. So we are offering, as you know, every Thursday we have this public talk and recordings of this talk. And the ones which we offered earlier are available on Manhattan Meditation Center's YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please encourage you to subscribe to our channel so you have access and you get notifications for our services. We also offer live meditation Monday to Friday at noontime every day. It's only for 15-20 minutes. If you join live, nothing like it. Everything fresh is always good, right? I repeat this, but I think this just stands good for all weathers and all times, right? And otherwise also the recordings of our meditations are available on our YouTube channel. I'll share the link in a little while in the chat. You may copy it if you already don't have it. We are starting our meditation courses of 2023 now. The first course will be offered in February. It's on February 25th and 26th, so maybe block your dates and register. And if you have friends and family who are interested, please encourage them to register also. Spread the word around. We also have started the podcast service, and I have been sharing 2 platforms, but I think I have more today. So our podcast service is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, and Podcast Index. So we are with you all the time at the tips of your fingers. So, you're walking, talking, jogging, you can listen to meditations. You can do meditation actually while you are in activity, doing things. We also have some talks on our podcast platform. So you might be interested in just browsing through the list, what we have there. I think that's all as far as announcements go. Today's topic, time for solitude. Solitude, as we understand in general terms, is, just finding a place and a space where you could be just alone, just you and your thoughts. And hopefully the good thoughts, not the thoughts of anger. And, sometimes when we are unhappy, we want to be sitting alone and all. But spirituality always have a little different perspective, or I should say actually an absolutely different perspective, a new look at the solitude, like any other topic we bring for you. So today's speaker is Dr. Rona Schweitz. I'm going to invite her to share her thoughts on the topic, time for solitude. Welcome, Sister Rona. Very warm welcome on behalf of everyone who is joining on different medias as well as who are in the center.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Time for solitude. Maybe we can start with a few moments of silence whilst others are joining in also. We are just having a few moments of silence before we start. And let the external silence, if you are in a space of silence, help you silence the mind. But even if you're not in a space of silence, and just also practice to shift the attention away from the external. Become more aware of your inner world, the world of your thoughts and feelings, and consciously choose to slow down the thoughts. And if it helps, then just become aware of the position of the body. Become aware of the breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And just allow the self to as if ease into that feeling of relaxation and stillness. And just enjoying your own company. No need to create so many thoughts. Just be. There is power in the focus and experience of this moment. And if it helps to give your mind a focus, then you can use the image of light, a tiny star. Pure, serene, timeless, light. And other thoughts may try to push their way onto the screen of your mind. And we don't fight with our thoughts. You just say, not now, maybe later, but now I am enjoying this stillness and lightness. And filling the mind with that image of light, tiny star, calm, cool, sweet, silent, light. And as we gradually choose to come to the end of this silence period, we become aware again of the surroundings. But let us aim just to hold that feeling of stillness, that feeling of not needing anything, not needing to do anything or not needing to think of anything, to just be. Enjoy the moment, the stillness, and the sweetness of your own being. And the relaxation that comes from a mind that is at ease. A mind that is in peace. A mind that is just a silent observer. Thank you. Sometimes this word solitude, the, the title for today, the topic for today, time for solitude. But sometimes this word solitude scares people. Certain topics, if you choose this topic of how to deal with difficult people, you will have 50 people. When we talk about inner stillness or silence or solitude, then not so many. And what happens is this word solitude is sometimes confused with alone, or with even further with loneliness. And maybe in some contexts, some people give that meaning to that word, but within the spiritual context, solitude is not necessarily a physical thing. Although I know in certain religious movements, there is this aim to also physically be alone. They isolate themselves, or even in the modern day world, even if it is in retreats, they all go into their own room or in their own hut, separated, isolated. But isolation is not what the Brahma Kumaris and the spiritual knowledge tells us. Physical isolation is not really the aim. And so when we talk about solitude, it is not about a physical isolation or a loneliness or no one around, although sometimes it might be nice if there is no one around. But most of the time, for many of us who lead active, busy lives, we are never really alone. And even during the COVID times where we were kind of all in our homes, we were still so busy connecting through Zoom and through all kinds of other electronic gadgets and media. But when in spirituality we talk about solitude, it is more that power to create in your own mind an atmosphere and a space that is sacred, that is filled with wisdom, that is filled with love, that is filled with purity, without it being influenced or affected or flawed or attacked by external influences. And to give a simple example, just now we were having these moments of silence, and then the doorbell rings. That is a sense stimulus, sound. The bell rings. Does it disturb? Does it affect? Does it interfere with my focus and the inner experience of silence or not? Does it affect it? That is what we mean by solitude, that you can focus, that you can concentrate, that you can create inner experiences without the activities or sense stimuli from the outside world interrupting or attacking or destroying that inner atmosphere that you are creating. And so one can, for example, be immersing the mind in an experience of timelessness, in an experience of soul awareness, whilst many things are going on outside. But sometimes you might be having that experience. You are reading a book and you're so immersed in what you're reading, so a novel or some whatever, a biography. You're so immersed in what you're reading. You might even be in your mind seeing the things that are being described, and you might even be smelling the the atmosphere or the fragrances they are describing in the book. You're as if immersed in what is described in that book. But other people may be talking around you and walking and going in, going out on the phone. Some television may be on, but you are immersed in that experience of what you're reading in the book. Or if you're watching a movie, you're as if lost in that movie, whilst there are other things going on all over the place. So that inner space of solitude, that is what we're talking about in spirituality, where you can concentrate, focus without force. It is not like, oh, clenched fist. I have to creating tension in my forehead. I have to focus, focus, focus. No, with a feeling of interest and love, you're more inwardly focused, and you are creating thoughts of your own choice, not thoughts that are triggered by external situations or thoughts that are triggered by what happened this morning or what somebody said or some email you got or some situations from the past or maybe worries from. No, you are choosing to create thoughts and create inner images on on the screen of your mind, or feelings of your own choice. And you are able to hold that regardless of what is going on around. Time for solitude means that it is time that we take control over the reins of our own, what is it? The reins of our own mind. Who is boss in your head? You yourself, or the weather, or the politicians, or Wall Street, or or your boss, or your dog, or your partner? Are they deciding what is going on in your own mind, or are you in charge of your mind? And these days, actually for a while already, we have become, although we use the word human being, we are not really human beings. We are human doings. And this has become very popular. Many use this expression. We are always doing things. And our thoughts are always on what we have to do, what we should do, what we forgot to do, what we have to do tomorrow on our to-do list. And even whilst we're doing one thing, our thoughts are the next doing and the next doing. And the end of the day, we do not even think of all the things we have done, but we did think about all the things that we did not, that we miss out doing, that we still have to do. So our mind is all the time racing. And most of the things we think about are repetitive things, cyclical things. Have you observed that? Anyone has this problem? Same thoughts all the time. Same topics of thoughts all the time. Nothing very new. Tomorrow is just the same topics again, and the same people, and the same objects, or the same concepts, ideas again and again and again and again. We exhaust ourselves thinking of the things we do and we want to do or we want to have, or about others. All of that is not solitude. All of that actually is a life of emptiness. Although we are busy, although we are thinking all the time, although our head is bursting with thoughts and feelings, it is actually empty because we don't have control. We are not choosing our thoughts, and we are not using our mind for that higher ability that it has. Now, our minds are our greatest gifts. Our minds is where thoughts come, where feelings come, where images come. Now, are you using your mind? Like everything has its highest purpose. Like this mic has a purpose. The purpose of this mic is that sound can be, what is it? How do you call that? Disseminated,
Amplified.
amplified, disseminated, but also let into the computer. I don't know how exactly that happens, but then it comes to you and you also listen it, hear it, and we here at the center hear it amplified. That is the purpose of this mic. And everything has its purpose. The stand has the purpose of holding this mic. That is its highest purpose. But I can also use this mic to stir my coffee if I want to. You need a little bit big mug, but you can stir your coffee with it. But that is not the highest purpose of the mic. So you won't get out of this object the best working if you're using it for something that is not what it is made for. But also, if you use it for coffee, it most probably will not work anymore for the purpose of amplifying sound after a while, at least. Now, everything, there's this chair has its own purpose. To give you hospitality, you can sit comfortably. But you can also use it, what? To mop the floor, for example. But the mopping will become difficult because it is not the right tool. And also it will damage the chair. Now, our mind has its own purpose. And the highest purpose of our mind is that we use it for noble thoughts, for positive thoughts, for constructive thoughts, for peaceful thoughts, for uplifting thoughts, for thoughts of joy, for thoughts of cooperation, for thoughts of patience, for thoughts of analyzing and discerning, for thoughts of tolerance, or thoughts of virtuousness. The highest purpose of this mind is for there to be feelings of peace, feelings of benevolence, feelings of sweetness, feelings of enjoyment. That is the highest purpose. To create an attitude, to experience an attitude of brotherhood, of connectedness with everyone. Highest purpose of this mind is to connect it with the Supreme, to allow the self to experience companionship with God. Highest purpose of the mind is to experience the self as a spiritual being, a being of consciousness, a being of light, a being that transcends this body. Body is like the what? A tool or a car, a vehicle that the soul operates Body was born, body will die, but I, the soul, continue. And for the mind to experience that timelessness, that immortality, that freedom, for the mind to be aware that there is a physical dimension and a non-physical dimension, and that the physical dimension is like a game that we play with each other, the game of human life. For the mind to have that accurate, clear perspective, to not be in bondage to what is happening in this game. That is higher purpose, highest purpose of this mind. And when we use the mind in that way, it will be healthy. It will be pleasant. It will experience peace. But what happens, and in solitude is just creating, bringing the mind back into that space of cleanliness and pure, clean, peaceful thoughts, thoughts of truth, thoughts of transcending, what is it? Transcending mundaneness. But what has happened is this mind has become addicted to thinking about things that are perishable. And this mind has become addicted to thinking about fast, very fast, and mind has become impressed also by gross things and by size. Has become trapped in thinking of things that are temporary and short-lived and perishable. And we have started to think of ourselves also as physical beings, bodily beings, whilst we are spiritual beings. Body is the vehicle. We have started to grow, use this mind to grow attached. And attached, I don't mean with that caring. With attached, I mean we started to get dependent on things, on people, on possessions, on money, on excitements, sense excitements, loud noise, music, get impressed, attached, and in bondage to, what is this thing called? Tongue, eating. And the other day, someone told me that in one day he ate 15 pizzas. And he said, still, I'm hungry. Oh, you can be hungry.
What was the size of the pizza?
That is what I asked. And he just showed me this, the normal pizza boxes size that was. I said, you alone? Yes, 15. Just the thought already makes me a bit nauseous. But our mind has become so dependent and addicted on external stimuli and on sense experiences and on thinking, and thinking fast. What is the next pizza? What is the next pizza? What is next taste of the next pizza? I don't know how many pepperoni and whatever different tastes there are, with pineapple, without this. We're using our mind for these types of purposes. And I'm exaggerating maybe a little bit, but it is for you to assess what is going on. And time for solitude just means rediscover the power and the beauty of and the potential of your own mind, and not be a slave to these sense pleasures and limited excitements which get you into addictions and to bondages. Just as if beginning to discover the fact that you can choose your thoughts. But for a long time, we just let this mind go like a monkey, or like a horse, just whatever, however, wherever, whatever. It doesn't need to be like that. But we have let this mind for a long time like that. So you just say, okay, you know what? Let's try something different. You don't need to think about all these 15 tastes of pizza. Come back to what is it? Being in charge of your own mind. And then you can say, well, then what do I do and think about? Because that can easily happen, because we are so used to thinking about what work, what we're gonna eat, thinking about other people, thinking about what we don't like about other people, or worrying about the weather or politics, or what do we think about if we don't think about those things? And this is where the spiritual knowledge comes in. This is where a bigger perspective comes in. Now, the people in this world who, when they do these researches on positive psychology, what makes people happy, what gives people a sense of fulfillment, is one aspect of these people who not necessarily have to be spiritual people, but it is people who have set themselves a goal or an aim for their life in which they bring benefit to many other people selflessly. When they use their mind, their time, their thoughts to uplift humanity, to uplift others. When they use their time and their thoughts for common good. And so there are people who are not thinking all the time only about 15 choices of pizza and Coca-Cola and what is the next YouTube video to watch, or Instagram, or what is this thing now? TikTok. But to use or my money or my job or worries, the people who use their time and their thoughts in a constructive way for something that is bigger than themselves. One thing that they have also seen is that people who have thoughts which have that quality of selflessness. One way to get an idea of the quality of your thoughts is to look at the content of your thoughts and the words that often come in your thoughts. And you know what one word often comes in our thoughts and also in our speaking? The most favorite word today in the world. I feel courageous enough to say that general statement. One word that is extremely popular all over the world. Anyone?
I.
Who said?
I.
Yeah, very good. I. I want. I need. I think. I desire. I do. I am doing. I want to do. My ID. My things. My friend. My activities. I and mine. It gives you an idea of how self-centered, ego-centered our thinking often is. And that we repeat a few thousand times. I, my. And saying is one thing, but if for the one time we say it, we have taught it 10 times. And what they have observed is that people who have selfless thinking for the greater good, they have more sense of self-respect, but also they have a higher sense of fulfillment and a sense of usefulness of their existence. So one easy way is to, this is the new year also, with all these New Year's resolutions and whatever. I don't know how much that habit is still around, but it's good to have some focus for the new year. Some selfless activities, thoughts that are of projects or activities where you give back to the world, where you give back to society in a selfless way. Those are higher thoughts. Those are thoughts that have the color of nobility. But for that, you need that solitude. Because everyday craze and activity is not for that. But another area of thoughts are the more deeply spiritual thoughts, where you consciously remind yourself of your own higher nature. Remind the self that you are invisible, timeless, spiritual being with innate higher potential. Oh, and in religious traditions, they talk about child of God. That being, the soul, is child of God. And to begin to look and think about yourself in that way, not in the terms of I am a woman or a man, and my job and my money and my dog or my house. That all is there, whatever you. But the real self is this invisible living light, consciousness. And all these things will come and go. Even this body will go one day, but you will remain. The soul, the spirit. And to live in that awareness and to play the game with that awareness makes you fearless. Makes feelings of anxiety and what is it? Fear subside. And when there is no fear, what do you feel? Happy. When there is no fear, there is peace. When there's no insecurity, you are authentically peaceful. And solitude means to consciously choose these types of topics to think about and to think them through, and to allow your mind to see the truth of this, and to allow the mind to experience this spiritual truth. Normally, our mind experiences thoughts that are based on the past. Now, what happened this morning? What happened yesterday? Who said this? Who did what? What went on? Those type of thoughts are in the mind. Or the mind experiences sense experiences. What we see, we think about it and we feel. What we hear, what we taste, what we feel through our sense, tactile senses. Our mind thinks of that. Or our mind is busy about future or what others around. Solitude is where you say, okay, all of that is there, but I'm gonna use the mind to tap into that invisible dimension of what is timeless and get in touch again with the essence of my own being, and maybe even with the essence of the Supreme God. So time for solitude doesn't mean, oh, I am alone and I don't know what to do. I get restless or lonely because there's no one to keep me company. Actually, you are immersed and in the joy of a transcending beauty. I don't know if I make sense or if you're able to catch what I'm trying to say, but you want to say anything or ask anything? Silence? What does that mean? So then shall we practice a few moments of solitude? When a car has been running, what do you need to do? Make it stop. Make it stop for a while and cool down. So when we have been running, just make it stop for a while. Cool down. Inner solitude. So let's take a few moments. First of all, just become aware of yourself as an invisible experiencer. The body is the package, and there are all kinds of extensions, education and culture and people and friends and family and address and job and your email address, all of that. But at the center of all of that is the being, the experiencer, invisible to the human eye, but your thoughts are also invisible to the one who is creating those thoughts. It's not so difficult to understand that that one is also invisible. Inner being or higher being, many words used. Being of consciousness, soul. And just take a few moments to let this sink in. The real self is an invisible experiencer. One who is as if sitting in the center of the forehead, behind the eyes, operating this body, operating these eyes, watching through the windows of these eyes. A spiritual being who has come in the body at the time when the body was in the mother's womb. And when body has reached the end of the lifespan, this real self, the soul, separates from the body and travels on. The soul, the real self, never dies. An immortal being, imperishable being. Body is perishable, but I, the soul, am timeless. Imperishable, deeply secure and safe. And sometimes it helps to visualize this invisible experiencer as a tiny star. And the tiny star is the real self, genderless, bodiless, ethnicity-less. That being is the child of God. An eternal being. Free, timeless, living light. And just allow this awareness to sink in. Try and see the truth of this. And this game of human life will go on, and whatever happening and the news and so, that's fine. But you are that living light. The scenes of the drama of human life, they will come and go, come and go, come and go. But you eternally are that living light. The invisible experiencer, a being of peace. Free, a being of truth, a being of love. And to immerse the mind in these more refined experiences is what is solitude. Spiritual solitude. And it heals. And more, there is the awareness of the self as this invisible experiencer, soul. More we begin to realize that everyone else is also a soul. They're not the body, they're not the color of the skin, they're not the gender or their education or social background. That is just the part enacted, the game. Behind there is a soul, my brother. 8 billion souls playing this game on planet Earth. We are a family. We are never alone. But in solitude, we will discover how we are eternally connected. In solitude, we will experience that bond and that belonging to all. In solitude, the mind can begin to grasp that higher feeling of love, unconditional, selfless, clean love of brotherhood. And so as we choose to become aware again of the external circumstances and the game of human life, hold this mind in this awareness of the invisible and the timeless. Hold the awareness of the self as this invisible experiencer, a divine being of light, whilst playing the game. Time for solitude. Thank you. If anyone wants to say any final thoughts, this time is already there. What they say, time goes fast when you are having fun. A quiet, serene type of fun. Okay, anyone want to say anything or ask anything? I'm seeing many familiar faces. We're already 12 days into 2023, but it's not too late, I think, to all our auspicious spiritual good wishes for not only this year, but this life, for your spiritual journey. Okay, if there is no question, then over to Anita.
Thank you, Sister Rona.
Om Shanti.